Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make a reverse dyed diamond hoodie. The hoodie that I'm going to use for this I purchased from Costco, and it is a Champion brand hoodie that is more like a thick t-shirt material. It's 100% cotton, and this one is black. This hoodie doesn't have any fuzzy stuff on the inside. Like I said, it feels just kind of like a thick t-shirt. It was also in the men's portion of Costco, but it's kind of a unisex item. Either a man or a woman could wear it. I'm going to start by centering the hoodie. By the way, I have it turned inside out. The centering process is going to go really fast, but down below in the description for this video, I have a link to another video which shows how to center a shirt. Essentially what I'm trying to do when I center this hoodie is I'm trying to get both sides of the front of the hoodie right up next to each other. And that will put both sides of the back of the hoodie right up next to each other. That way, whenever I apply the dye or do anything to the front of the hoodie, both sides of the front of the hoodie are going to look more similar and symmetrical, and the same thing for the back. Now that the hoodie is centered, I'm going to use a piece of chalk and draw myself a line or a mark where I would like for the center of my diamond to be. I'm placing the center of the diamond a little bit higher than what the actual center of the shirt is. I'm going to pinch that shirt on the line that I just drew and fold it in half. Using a straight edge and that piece of chalk, I'm going to draw a diagonal line on my shirt, and that's going to be the line that I'm going to fan fold for the diamond. I ended up going ahead and drawing on several more lines, which I can use to fan fold later. Whenever I reverse dye a diamond, I really like to make the lines get smaller as they go in toward the center of the diamond and larger as they go out toward the edges of the shirt. I think it just kind of gives a cool kind of optical effect to do that. You can make your diamonds all the same size if you'd like, or you can vary the sizes. It's truly just a personal preference. Okay, so I've chosen one of the lines that I drew, and I'm going to fan fold that line and tie it with some sinew. Sinew is wax coated, and so whenever I tie a line with sinew and I pull it really tight, it forms kind of a waterproof barrier that won't allow the white bright color remover underneath that area, and it won't allow the dye underneath that area. So every place where I put a sinew line, that area of the shirt, or the hoodie in this case, is going to remain the original color. So I will have black lines underneath all of these sinew lines. I also like to kind of start my sinew lines a little bit further up into the shirt. I don't like to start them right at the very end. I'm going to leave this hoodie tied for this whole entire process. And I've found that the sinew just lasts a little bit better if I start it a little further up on the shirt rather than right at the very end in a very, very small area. When I get down to the very end, into that small area, I'm going to tie it, but then I'm going to work my sinew back up to that original line, keeping the sinew line intact, and not cut the sinew line off right at the very end in that small area. I've noticed that I have more of an issue with the sinew unraveling if I cut it off when the tie is really small. I'm going to continue tying diamonds on the hoodie, making the lines get further apart the further away from the center I go. For the color removal or the reverse dye process, I'm using a product called Out White Bright Laundry Whitener, and I purchased mine at Walmart on the laundry aisle. They normally have it by the bleach and the bleach alternative products. It's not a bleach product, so it's not going to damage your fabric the way bleach would. If for some reason you can't find it in your local store, I have a link down below in the description for this video where you can purchase some from Amazon. I like to reverse dye several items at the same time. So I'm reverse dyeing 4 items right now, and I've placed them inside of a plastic tub or tote, and I have the plastic tote outside. I like to do this process outside because Out White Bright does have a smell, which I don't want inside, and I also wear my respirator for the entire process because I don't want to inhale any of the fumes or any of the powdered Out White Bright. I'm going to begin by sprinkling Out White Bright over the top of all of the items. This hoodie is the one at the very top of the container. Now I'm going to pour a pot of boiling hot water over the top. And if you'll notice, the minute the boiling hot water hits the hoodies and the Out White Bright, it immediately starts to remove the color. The items aren't fully submerged and there's quite a bit of fabric left sticking out of the Out White Bright solution, so I'm going to add a second pot of boiling hot water and a little bit more Out White Bright. You want to make sure that the items get fully submerged in the Out White Bright solution at some point. Otherwise, you could have some splotchy areas that doesn't have the color totally removed. I'm going to go ahead and speed the video up, but I left the items in the Out White Bright solution for about 20 minutes. You don't have to leave them that long. I actually had some clothes in my washing machine, so I couldn't stick the items into my washing machine, and I thought I would rather leave them in the Out White Bright solution outside rather than in my sink. Then I took the hoodies and rinsed them in my utility sink with some cold water and put them into my washing machine along with some Dharma's Professional Textile Detergent, and I washed them in a cold water cycle. The water temperature isn't really important though. You can wash them in cold, warm, hot, whatever you like. The purpose of washing them is to get out the residue from the Out White Bright and part of the smell. By the way, I left the hoodies tied this whole entire time. Then I took the hoodies out of my washing machine, put them into a soda ash solution, and allowed them to soak for 20 to 30 minutes. I like to use a soda ash solution that is not my main soda ash solution. I have one specifically mixed up to use for either reverse dyed items or previously dyed items, because some color from almost all of these kind of items is going to come out into the soda ash solution. It doesn't really affect the way the item dyes, but I don't want to contaminate my main soda ash solution. Then I wrung them out of my Panda spin dryer and set them aside to dry. I like to dry thick folds like this when they're totally dry. And if you'd like some more information about this, I have a blog post out on my website, which is funendeavors.com, which explains the reason for dyeing items that are thick when they're dry. Essentially, the short answer is I get better color saturation in the middle of the item if I wait until it's dry to apply the dye. Since this hoodie is absolutely bone dry, I'm going to spray it with a little bit of soda ash solution just to make the dye stick a little bit better to the top. Then I'm going to make myself an ice barrier using some silicone cake molds, and I'm going to attach the cake molds together, wrap them around the shirt, and then hold the cake molds up close to the shirt by attaching some wooden clothespins to the metal rack. I have a link down below in the description for this video for where you can purchase the cake molds. For this shirt, I thought some purples and reds would look really good paired with the black lines. So I've chosen quite a variety of different purples and reds. I'm going to try to alternate a purple and a red with each other. I don't have quite as many reds pulled, so I'm going to have to use some of those more than once. I also have more lines than I have colors pulled, so I'm going to have to repeat some of the colors. So for this hoodie, I'm using Strawberry Skies from Happy Cat Tie-Dye Company, Aster from Pro Chemical and Dye, Pomegranate, Orchid, and Burgundy from Dharma Trading Company, True Purple, Royal Purple, Burgundy from Grateful Dyes, Crimson Rose, Very Cherry, Velvet Orchid, and Lavender Fields from Dye Spin. If you missed any of those, I have them listed down below in the description. Now I'm going to add on an additional sprinkle of soda ash and a layer of ice. After this first layer of ice melted, I came back and added 2 more layers of ice. I had quite a bit of undissolved dye left sitting on top, and I also wasn't putting really thick layers of ice over the top of the hoodie. I don't have a whole lot of space between the hoodie and the very top of the silicone cake molds. And I want to make sure I have plenty of liquid going through the hoodie to get good color saturation in the middle and coming through to the back side. I left the shirt for about 48 hours after the last layer of ice melted before I took it to my utility sink and I started to rinse it. Okay, so this is what it looked like right before I started rinsing. And I started rinsing like normal. I started in cold water to rinse out the soda ash, and I still have a few little chunks of dye left sitting on top, so that's going to rinse those off as well. Then I warmed the water up to hot and continued rinsing in hot water to try to rinse out the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. I also untied the hoodie, and then instead of just rinsing for a long time, I put some really hot water in my utility sink, added some Blue Dawn dish detergent to the water, and just allowed the hoodie to soak. I was soaking out several other hoodies at the same time, so I ended up soaking it for about 24 hours. I changed out the water several times though during that time frame. When the water cooled off, I would change it out and run some more hot water and kept that up for about 24 hours. Then I put the hoodie along with some Dharma's Professional Textile Detergent into my washing machine and washed it using a hot water cycle. Okay, so now let's see what the hoodie looks like after it's been washed, dried, and ironed. Okay, so what do you guys think? I think this one looks really cool. I think this is one of my favorite designs to do with reverse dyes. I just think that the lines that come into play are just always so fun and interesting. And I really like doing the design where the lines get smaller as they go into the center of the diamond. like I said, I just think it's a really cool thing to look at. I also really like the purples and the reds together. You know, some of the colors that I use split out blue. I even see some aqua tealish type color in there, and I think that looks really kind of unexpected and interesting. That may have either been the strawberry skies or the aster. I'm not entirely sure. The blue probably came from the aster. The teal color or the turquoisey type color was probably from the strawberry skies. But I just think that anytime you pair these really bright colors with those black lines, it just makes the colors pop out. I also like how there are colors in between the black diagonal lines that are coming out from the center of the diamond. You can see it better on the back side of the hoodie. That is a whole different design element that was added in that is very unexpected, but I think it's a really cool effect. So I really love this hoodie. I bought a couple of these when I purchased this one, and I actually tied this hoodie up probably about 2 months ago, did the reverse dye process on it, and then put it aside. With the holidays and everything else, I got so busy, I never had a chance to actually add dye to it until just recently. So I don't even think they have these available anymore, which is kind of a bummer because I think it's a really cool hoodie. So I really love this hoodie, but what do you guys think? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed watching this video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it. And if you haven't already, if you would please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, you'll get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.